All right, 21. Our data indicate that the planets are circulating adjacencies. Almost do we know Almost do we now conceive of a difficulty of the future as being not how to reach the planets, but how to dodge them. Especially do we learn aviators away from the rhinoceros of the skies. Warn. Mercury. I have a note somewhere upon one of the wickedest looking horns in existence sticking out far from Mercury. I think it was Mr. Whitmell who made this observation. I'd like to hear Andrew Barclay's opinion upon that. I'd like to hear Captain Noble's. If sometimes does the planet Mars almost graze this Earth, as is not told by the great telescopes, which are only millionaires' what is that? Memorials, or at least which reveal but little more than did the little spy glasses used by Burham and Williams in Beer and Madler, but if periodically the planet Mars comes very close to this Earth, and if Mars an island with perhaps no more surface area than has England, but likely enough inhabited like England. June 19th, 1875, opposition of Mars. Flashes that were seen in the sky upon the 25th of June, 1875, by Charles Gape of Skull, Norfolk. The editor of Simmons Met Mag was interested and sent Mr. Gape some questions, receiving answers that nothing had appeared in the local newspapers upon the subject, and that nothing could be learned of a display of fireworks at the time. To Mr. Gape, the appearances seemed to be meteoric. The year 1877, climacteric opposition of Mars. There were some discoveries. We have at time wondered how astronomers spend their nights. Of course, according to many of his writings upon the subject, Richard Proctor had an excellent knowledge of whist. But in the year 1877, two astronomers looked up at the sky, and one of them discovered the moon of Mars, and the other called attention to the lines on Mars, and if for centuries the moons of Mars could so remain unknown to the inhabitants of this earth, except, as it were, Dean Swift, why, it is no wonder that we so respectfully heed some of the Dean's other intuitions and think that there may be Lilliputians or Brobdigans and other forms not conventionally supposed to be. As to our own fields of data, I have a striking number of notes upon signal light appearances upon the moon in the year 1877, but have notes upon only one occurrence that, in our interest, may relate to Mars. The occurrence is like that of July 31st, 1813, and June 19th, 1875. September 5th, 1877, opposition of Mars. September 7th, 1877, lights appeared in the sky of Bloomington, Indiana. They were supposed to be meteoric. They appeared and disappeared at intervals of 3 or 4 seconds, darkness for several minutes, then a final flash of light. See Scientific American 37-193. That all luminous objects that are seen in the sky when the planet Venus is nearest may not be Venus, may not be fire balloons. In the Dundee Advisor, December 22nd, 1882, it is said that between 10 and 11 a.m., December 21st, at Brodie Ferry, Scotland, a correspondent had seen an unknown luminous body near and a little above the sun. In the Advisor, December 25th, is published a letter from someone who says that this object had been seen at Dundee. Also, that quite certainly it was the planet Venus and no other. In Knowledge 2-489, this story is told by a writer who says that undoubtedly the object was Venus, but in Knowledge 3-13, the astronomer J.E. Gore writes that the object could not have been Venus, which upon this date was 1H33M RA west of the sun. 1 hour, 33 minutes, RA west of the sun. The observation is reviewed in L'Astronomie 1883-109. Here it is said that the position of Mercury accorded better. Reasonably, this object could not have been Mercury. Several objections are comprehended in the statement that superior conjunction of Mercury had occurred upon December 16th. Upon February 3rd, 1884, M. Stavert of the Brussels Observatory saw upon the disk of Venus an extremely brilliant point. 9 days later, Neiston saw such a point of light as this, but at a distance from the planet. If no one had ever heard that such things cannot be, one might think that these two observations were upon something that had been seen leaving Venus and had then been seen farther along. Upon the 3rd of July, 1884, a luminous object was seen moving slowly in the sky of Norwood, New York. It had features that suggest the structural, a globe the size of the moon surrounded by a ring, two dark lines crossing the nucleus. Upon the 26th of July, a luminous globe size of the moon was seen at Cologne. It seemed to be moving upward from this earth, then was stationary some minutes, and then continued upward until it disappeared. And in the English Mechanic 40-130, it is not said that a luminous vessel that had sailed out from Venus in February, visiting this earth, where it was seen in several places, was seen upon its return to the planet. But it is said that an observer in Rochester, New York, had, upon August 17th, seen a brilliant point upon Venus.